Hi everyone. Welcome to your IELTS listening practice test. Before we start, please follow these 5 instructions carefully. Listen to each audio only once, just like in the real test. Read the questions before the recording starts. Write your answers clearly using correct spelling. Do not pause or rewind the audio. Check your answers at the end of the test. This test will help you build real exam skills and improve your focus. If you find this video helpful, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. Your support motivates me to make more practice tests for you.
Section 1. You will hear an employee of a town council interviewing a woman as part of a consultation with local people. First, you have some time to look at questions 1 to 6. You will see that there is an example that has been done for you. On this occasion only, the conversation relating to this will be played first. Hello?
Oh, good morning. Is that Eve? Eve Jones?
Yes, it is. Eve's surname is Jones, so Jones has been written in the space. Now we shall begin. You should answer the questions as you listen, because you will not hear the recording a second time. Listen carefully and answer questions 1 to 6. Hello?
Oh, good morning. Is that Eve? Eve Jones?
Yes, it is.
I'm Jamie from Winton Town Council. As you know, we're consulting local people about possible improvements to the town, and I believe you've offered to talk to us.
That's right.
Great. We want to make sure we talk to a wide range of people, so could we start with some background information about you, please?
Of course.
I think I can tell from your accent that you're South African.
Yes, I am.
So, do you speak any languages other than English?
I can speak Afrikaans and I've learned a little Xhosa.
Sorry, how's that spelt?
Xhosa. It's another of the languages of South Africa.
When did you move to the UK?
When I was 18, I came here to study.
And did you move to Winton when you finished?
Not immediately. Let me think. My husband and I moved here when we'd been married 4 years, and it'll soon be our 15th anniversary.
So you've lived in the town for 11 years?
That's right.
And do you have any children?
Yes, 3. A daughter of 13 and twin sons who are 12.
Okay. And what's your address?
We've just moved to the centre, 54 High Street.
Right. Do you have a job?
Yes, I'm a dentist and my husband's a chef, so we're both pretty busy most of the time.
And what are your main leisure activities?
I don't get much free time, but I do belong to a gym and try to go there at least once a week. Before you hear the rest of the conversation, you have some time to look at questions 7 to 10. Now listen and answer questions 7 to 10.
Now, let's go on to improvements to the town. Is there anything in particular that you're concerned about?
Yes. What worries me most is the danger of flooding. The level of the river was very high several times last winter, and I'm sure the defences aren't adequate.
That's something a number of people have mentioned. We'll certainly act on that.
Then it seems to me a lot of elderly people living alone don't have much social contact. I know there are day centres where they can get together, but I wonder if there could be activities for people of all ages to meet.
That's an interesting idea.
Though I'm not sure how to do it. But if you take existing clubs, theoretically they're open to anyone. But in practice they tend to have nearly all middle-aged people, or nearly all young people.
That's true. So maybe something like a cookery course, where participants take turns to teach the others what they know, rather than an expert teaching everyone.
Exactly. Another thing I wondered about is that everyone in my family has got lots of books that we're unlikely to read again. So it seems a shame that they're just sitting on shelves. It would be good if there could be some form of library consisting of books donated by local people and run by volunteers.
I've heard about that sort of thing being set up in other places.
I think that's all I've got to suggest.
Well, thank you very much, Eve. The council will be looking into everyone's suggestions and publicising what it decides to do.
Excellent. Thank you. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
That is the end of section 1. You now have half a minute to check your answers.
Now turn to Part 3. Part 3. You will hear a man and a woman discussing some work training. First, you have some time to look at questions 21 to 25. Now listen carefully and answer questions 21 to 25.
Hello, Dominic. Can I have a word?
Oh, hello, Grace. Of course you can.
You know, you applied for that extra training on the new computer software that we're using.
Yes?
Well, I managed to push it through.
That's great. I thought it would be rejected because it was too expensive.
There were certainly objections raised to that, but the main problem was that they didn't want you away on the days of the training. You'll be away in San Francisco while we're having the big sales meeting.
So what happened?
I said I'd be able to fill in for you if you told me the key things needed for the customers.
Thanks so much, Grace.
When can we meet so that you can fill me in then?
How about just before the normal start of work on Monday? We can arrive an hour early and I'll have everything ready.
I drive my daughters to school on Mondays, so it's hard for me to get here that early. How about at the end of the working day on Friday?
I'm leaving here at lunchtime that day, as I have a meeting in town about the new parts we're ordering. The only time I'm really free is Thursday morning.
I'm in a meeting that time. Look, I'll ask my friend Angie to take my daughter into school on Monday. That way we can meet as you first suggested.
Good. Thanks, Grace. You'll need to have your computer with you so that I can upload some stuff.
Will there be a lot to do?
Not really. I can explain all the rationale behind the design decisions to you, and if you make some brief notes, that'll be enough. I'll also explain the model that we've made to show the customers. It'll be quite straightforward, as it's similar to the last one we did for the previous contract. The model is in my office. Finally, I'll also upload the sales forecast to you, as you'll need that to prove that our ideas are right.
Good, that's all clear. Now, do you have any questions about the training? I've just read up about it for you.
Oh, good. Well, first of all, I'll need to stay overnight in San Francisco. How shall I pay for everything? I paid in advance myself last time and then got the money back from the company.
That's always a bit of a pain, though. You have to collect and keep all the receipts safe. I know the company cards is not being used, so I'll make sure you get that.
That's good. I don't like having to pay these expensive hotels myself, as my credit card is nearly always maxed out. The company is not keen on giving out cash in advance either.
No, that's not popular here.
The next thing is how the company would like me to travel to the training. The bus is the cheapest, but I like to work on my computer, and that's not very easy on a bus.
No, it isn't. It's also not really far enough for a plane journey either. Is there a train?
Yes, Amtrak has a service there.
What would you prefer?
Anything but the bus, really. I'd even drive rather than take the bus and miss the work on the journey.
I'll make a train booking for you. Driving will be too tiring for you, and you want to arrive fresh and alert.
Okay, thanks.
You now have some time to look at questions 26 to 30. Now listen to the rest of the discussion and answer questions 26 to 30.
Now, I want to explain where your training is. It's at the Green Bay Business Park. You know where that is?
Yeah, I've been there before.
Do you know the Forward Thinking Training Center as well?
No, I've never been to that training company before.
Okay, so you arrive at the main gates, go in and take the middle road. That will take you past the mobile phone company on the right and the GPS center on the left.
Just a moment, Grace. I'll just get some paper. I'll need to write it down or I'll forget.
No problem.
Okay, here we are. I'm just making a note of what you just said. Right, carry on.
So after you pass the mobile phone company and the GPS center, take the next right and then the first left. Go 100 meters down that road and Forward Thinking will be on the left with the radio station opposite.
That seems fairly straightforward. You know, I think I do know this actually. I went there last year for an accountancy training.
That's right, I went on that for a different account there as well.
Yes, it was a good training, so I know where it is now. When you pass Forward Thinking, then there's a dead end with a recycling depot.
Yes, that's right, you've got it.
Now, do I need to take anything with me? My company ID, for instance?
Let's have a look at this letter. No ID is required. It says you only need to bring this confirmation letter. You can take your computer for making any notes you like.
Okay, that'll be useful.
Yes, it says here too that lunch will be provided and drinks throughout the day. They'll also give you a password to get online there so you can keep in touch with us if necessary.
That is the end of part 3. You will now have half a minute to check your answers.
Section 2. You'll hear a talk about the waste collection in Baltimore. First, you have some time to look at questions 11 to 15. Now, listen carefully and answer questions 11 to 15.
Hi folks, my name is Loretta Johnston and I'm here from the Baltimore Department of Public Waste. Thank you for coming out to our community meeting tonight. I've got a few words to say about the waste collection here in Baltimore. First, there's the sorted collection bins themselves. They're made of sturdy, solid material, so none of your trash can seep out or puncture the bin. Also, since these things sit out on the curb overnight, rain or shine, they have to be waterproof. We can't have water getting up in it and filling up the bin. Remember to pay attention to which bin is which and sort your waste accordingly. You should have a blue or green bin for recyclable garbage, a yellow bin for unrecyclable garbage, and a red bin for toxic waste. Our citywide waste management is divided into 2 services. The first is commercial waste collection, or trash collection from buildings. The majority of building waste is paper, which goes in the blue or green bins. You'll notice in your office buildings there are signs that warn you not to overfill these bins. All that paper adds up, and an overflowing bin is infinitely harder for collectors to carry to the truck and empty. Aside from paper, another large source of building waste is metals. Metals such as tin and aluminium can be put in the yellow recycle bins, but metals like lead and copper should be disposed of in the red bins. These heavy metals are harmful to the environment and exacerbate our city's existing pollution problem. That's about all the information you need for building waste. Moving on to the second service, household waste collection is probably what you primarily think of when you think of what we do here. Many of the same guidelines apply, the sorting is the same, etc. Please remember to keep garbage like kitchen waste in a plastic bag. It makes collection easier and lessens the abominable rotten trash smell.
Before you hear the rest of the talk, you have some time to look at questions 16 to 20. Now listen and answer questions 16 to 20.
So, after we take your trash away, what happens to it? We take all the garbage to one of a number of garbage disposal plants, each of which is located in the middle of an open space of some sort. No one wants to have their home or office right next door to a waste disposal plant, right? Waste is collected and then disposed of once every 4 weeks. A lot of trash can build up in that time, so we're in the process of developing a plan to fund collection more frequently. Ideally, it would be collected weekly, but we will likely have to settle for bi-weekly. The garbage trucks make their rounds to clear the bins at night in order to avoid traffic. I'm sure you've seen how much waste your own household produces in a given week. Now imagine all the trash produced by all the households in Baltimore. It's a lot, right? It may surprise you that this amount is only marginal compared to commercial waste. Yep, the main waste producers are actually businesses, industrial facilities, retail and offices. Hard to believe humans produce that much waste, right? No wonder we have pollution problems. Anyway, after all incoming waste is sorted, recyclables are sent to a recycling plant, while garbage and toxic waste are transported to their respective areas of the plant for treatment. Items such as stones, which should not be disposed of in our bins, are separated out and discarded. Once the trash has undergone the treatment process, it is compacted and disposed of with all the other trash. And finally, when the landfill space is full, it is buried deep underground, and in time, something new is built on the land. That's everything about waste collection. Thank you for listening. Are there any questions?
That is the end of section 2. You now have half a minute to check your answers. Now turn to section 3.
Now turns to part 4.
You will hear part of a lecture on cities of the future. You now have 30 seconds to read questions 31 to 37.
Okay, we've been looking at how societies will develop in the future and at the increase in the size of cities. So I want to talk to you today about the key considerations in these cities of the future. There are 3 key elements I want to look at, and these are the new features they will have, issues of size, and the main problems to be considered. First of all, individual transportation will be a big factor in these new megacities as public transport becomes unmanageable. There'll be a huge rise in the use of segways, which are personal transporters like motorized scooters. As a result, and partly also to reduce pollution, roads will be altered so that they are narrower and will take up less of a city's space than they do currently. Naturally, this is a major change to the infrastructure, and something that may hinder it is the huge amount of investment it will require. The next thing is, what is going to happen to the commercial areas? We do not want these to become even larger concrete jungles than they are at present, so we have to look at design. And current designs for city development include building gardens on the roofs of these buildings to make a more pleasant environment for workers. And you may think that these areas will expand to cope with increased commercial activity. In fact, the prediction is that they will cover 1/5 of the area that they do at present as we build upwards. The exception to this is shopping centres, which we predict will expand with more and more temperature-controlled malls. What may cause difficulties is that the superstores will be confined to the outer edges of the city, as they will be too big to fit into the new malls. Then, of course, there are the residential areas, and these will undergo their own changes. One particular development will be houses which are built from glass, as innovations in this material allow it to provide light without causing problems with temperature inside a building. The residential areas will not be allowed to expand without limit, as happens in some areas at present, and their size will be restricted to a population of 15,000. One issue, which has yet to be resolved, and I'm not sure it ever will be, is how we manage to house older residents. They will be increasing in numbers as time goes on. Finally, how will these cities live? We know we have limited energy sources, so what will we do? Well, something currently in development, which will be a feature, is that waste is going to become an energy source. For example, to provide gas in homes. Also, as new technology and systems are developed, we will find that energy plants will become smaller. Another energy source we could use, but one which raises issues of having enough space and too much noise, is wind farms. Because of the problems, I'm not convinced these will be the grand solution to our energy problems that we thought they were going to be.
You now have 15 seconds to read questions 38 to 40.
Now, moving on to looking at the social aspect of cities, we need to look at housing and how people will live. Cities currently have flats in the centre, populated by single people and wealthier residents, and families tend to move to the outskirts. In the future, the centre of cities will see a dramatic change. We will see many more examples of cooperative buildings. This is where people join together to form a company that owns the building they live in. And despite continuing shortages, there will also be a rise in the provision of retirement homes in city centres so that the elderly can have easy access to hospitals and shops. Recently, we have seen a levelling off in the growth of private housing, and I think that will not change. But we are likely to see more social housing, as far fewer people will be able to afford to own their own homes. OK, now, if anybody has any...
That is the end of part 4.